Okay, I want to show you how to use your calculator to reverse engineer these values. Now, a couple of caveats. First of all, to get an exact answer, you need to use the exact notation. So you need to be really careful that you're not rounding at any point, like for instance in this radical 2 over 2. If you don't use the exact value, you're not going to get the right answer. The other thing is make sure you are in degrees when you start. So I'm going to first check my mode, and I'm in radians. I need to switch to degrees. And then I'm going to exit out of here. So to find this top one, right up here, I need this cosine -1. This is the inverse. So anytime you are looking for the angle, you're going to use this. So I'm going to do second cosine, which gives me my cosine inverse. Then I'm going to put in this exact value. So the square root of 2 divided by 2, and then enter. And there's my answer, 45. Now that's only the first answer. I would then need to figure out, okay, where else is cosine positive? In this case, quadrant 4, and figure out that next value. It's only going to give you one value, even though you're typically going to have at least two values. Now the second one's a little bit harder. So the first one, sine, cosine, and tangent, they're right there on the screen. You can see them right above sine, cosine, and tangent. Cosecant, secant, and cotangent aren't quite as easy to engineer, and you can't do them. The other one, just put one over and okay, I'm done. This one's a little bit more work. So for instance, when I go to do this one, I'm going to first rewrite this, and I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over sine alpha equals negative square root of 2. Okay, because this I can put into my calculator. So my goal is I want that equal to something that I can then solve. So what I'm going to do is, this is just over 1. I can just flip both. This is ratio property. I can turn this into sine alpha equals negative 1 over the square root of 2. Now this I can put in my calculator. By the way, had you multiplied both sides by sine theta and then divided by negative square root of 2, you would have got the same thing. It's just the shortcut. This is what I'm going to put into my calculator. I'm going to put in what I'm actually going to put in. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to put in the sine of negative 1 of 1 over the square root of 2. So let's pull up my calculator. And I'm going to do negative, I'm going to do the inverse of sine, so second sine, and then negative 1. Make sure to use the negative, not the subtraction button, or it'll yell at you. Learn that the hard way. Square root of 2, close that bracket, close this one, enter. Notice this gives you negative 45. This is actually not either of the answers you want because you want to be between 0 and 360. So you're going to need to take this, figure out this. So for instance, if I add 360 to this, I'll get 315. And actually, I can just do that right here. So 360. That gives me 315, and then I would have to adjust and go, okay, well, how far down am I? And hopefully you're 45. You can actually kind of see that. 45 degrees is actually my reference angle, so I need to figure out what is the other quadrant that cosecant is negative in, the third, and then I would have to adjust. I'd have to do 180 plus 45 and give me 225 as my second value. So the calculator will do this, but you need to be careful because the calculator is not going to typically, not always going to give you the answers you want. And even if it does give you one of the answers you want, it's only going to give you one of them, and you're usually going to need at least one more. So there's nothing wrong with using your calculator. The issue is you just have to know how to get the rest of the answers that you need.